Good afternoon and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining the Insurtech Evolution webinar series part 3. Today we're sitting down with a panel of insurance experts to explore accelerating growth and improving customer experiences. During this session, we'll delve into key topics such as the importance of modernizing systems and digitizing communications, as well as how technology is helping carriers improve customer experiences and overall operational efficiency. I'm Lawrence White, EVP here at GhostDraft, and your moderator for today's discussion. With me, we have Chris Daniel, Director of Solution Consulting at Sapiens, and Layla Muth, Director of Pre-Sales at GhostDraft. A few housekeeping items during the discussion. Feel free to ask questions in the Q&A area. We'll endeavor to answer these questions throughout today's webinar. However, if we run out of time to answer your question, one of our insurance experts will get in touch with you. All right, let's get started with the first question. As we all know, insurance is a competitive marketplace. With that in mind, what are some of the key challenges and common challenges that carriers, especially workers' compensation carriers, face today's market? Chris, do you want to lead us off?
Thank you, Lawrence. I appreciate that. And good afternoon, everyone. You're right, Lawrence. Challenges always exist, right? Even in the best of times. And the workers' comp industry today is experiencing, an unprecedented results from a financial performance standpoint. In fact, last year, the industry, private insurers ended its 10th consecutive year of underwriting profitability. And so the cycle in that has gone on for a while, much different than it used to be. And those results are driven by several positive things. However, the premium and the pricing piece of the equation is driving some real significant challenges for carriers from a growth and a retention standpoint. We're in a soft market. It's hugely competitive for carriers. And because of this, because it's a good time to enter, more and more insurtechs, innovative types of carriers and MGAs, service providers see this as an opportunity to enter the market, making it even more competitive. They're taking advantage of the profit margins. They're cutting premiums. They're offering agent commission plans that are very competitive and very attractive. And they're doing all of this while offering new, exciting, fast, easy, one-click service options and very personalized experiences. And of course, financial situation, we're in a good place right now. But what I know in this world, it's cyclical and history does repeat itself. Pricing cycles are going to return. So it seems to me this is the time that the industry ought to work to overcome two of the biggest operating challenges that carriers face, and that's legacy technology systems that we're still saddled with and cumbersome, old manual workflows. And those probably are obvious as to the impacts. Obviously, operationally, technically, you're going to have inefficiencies, will drive costs, and will influence outcomes in an adverse way. And again, the market is doing well. It may not be as critical, but again, things are going to turn. And Lawrence, I would mention one more challenge that I think is very related to the dated technology and processes. Maybe less obvious, but in my mind, it's more critical. This stuff is, impacting workforce, recruitment, retention, succession planning. As an industry, we're not doing much to attract the younger folks, the millennials, into the industry. And the ones that do sort of fall into it, like many of us did, we're asking them to perform their jobs with old tech, without a lot of innovation. And they're not staying, quite frankly. So the question that they ask themselves, why stay? Why commit my career to this when I could go do something a lot more interesting, engaging, and satisfying? And that's a huge challenge that carriers are facing today, I believe. I'll turn it over to Layla.
Thanks, Chris. So to add on to what you mentioned, there's a couple of things that I see. I've worked closely with insurers for many years, and there are several really reoccurring challenges that are very common, not just in workers' comp, but sort of across all types of carriers. So first up, one of the things that there is always that challenge of kind of keeping up with growing customer expectations of that quick, timely, personalized interaction. So it could be traditional channels, print, it could be digital. We really need to be catering to those diverse preferences. It's kind of more crucial than ever. The challenges that are driven, I think, primarily by those evolving customer behaviors, the technical advancements that they see sort of outside of the workers' comp insurance space. And you kind of really need to deliver instant access to information, services across whatever channels make sense to the user. Hyper personalization has also become really critical. So you want that tailored communication, documents, notifications, everything has to be tailored to the specific customer. From what I've seen also, there are some operational inefficiencies that you spoke about too, right? Those siloed teams, those outdated technologies, you're duplicating efforts, you're fragmenting workflows. And so it slows down the processes and it hinders collaboration sort of across those cross-functional teams. So, it leads to delays in decision-making. It makes it very hard to be responsive to your customer needs. And it's really important to sort of streamline those operations so that you can have the ability to allocate resources more effectively so that customer service and those expectations that customers have for those personalized interactions are met. And then finally, there's that evolution of technology. It's an opportunity and a challenge. There's that innovation. So you have that promise of enhanced efficiency and that superior customer experience. But a lot of carriers are really hindered by those legacy systems, and they're struggling to keep pace with the modern demands of the customer. So you want to talk about making sure that you have that operational agility and that you have that ability to deliver that seamless experience that customers expect. Lawrence?
Thanks, Layla. So I'm hearing kind of there's a lot of commonality here, right? We've got a strong market, which is great for the carriers that are on the call today. Congratulations for being in the middle of a strong market. But we've got some commonality, right? Legacy technology that maybe can't keep up with demand. Lots of operational efficiency that can be plugged and made better. But Layla, I'd like to dig in a little deeper. You mentioned the importance of customer experience, hyper-personalization and such like. Can you talk a little bit about the steps that a workers' compensation carrier could take to enhance those experiences?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I've worked with several carriers, and they were really able to enhance their customer experiences by implementing a couple of key strategies so that they prioritize that personalization, the clarity of their communication, and then also accessibility, right? You want to foster those better relationships with the policyholders and also streamline processes for the insurers and the customers. So let's talk about personalization. It is crucial to transform those customer interactions. So you tailor those communications to each policyholder's preferences and their needs. Then you can, as an insurer, increase your engagement and your satisfaction. So it could be something like using data analytics to understand the behaviors and preferences of your customers, and then deliver that relevant information and provide offers to the customers really effectively, much more effectively. And then we talk about omni-channel delivery, right? You want to make sure that you're meeting customers where they are. So whatever their preferred communication channel is, if it could be mail, email, SMS and text messages, or even something like social media, right? You want to provide those choices so that they have the convenience and responsiveness that they're looking for. And then it acknowledges those diverse communication habits of customers. And then they have this really nice, seamless experience. I think another important key for insurers to provide, it's important to provide clear and timely communication throughout that customer journey. So insurers should really ensure that all communications from your policy details to your claims processes and updates, that they're consistent, they're clear, and they're easy to understand. Timeliness is also really critical. You want to keep those customers informed and informed quickly, so that it builds that trust and it reduces uncertainty during critical moments. Chris, what do you have to think? What do you think? What do you have to think?
Sure. Sure. Yeah. So I think the steps to enhancing customer service first is, who are the customers? You've got to identify who you're working with. And my definition is any party engaged in the workers' comp life cycle, from the quote of the policy all the way to claim closure. You've got a lot of players involved in that, supporting the process. And one way I think that we can really enhance the experience of all these stakeholders is by incorporating opportunities for digital engagement across the end-to-end life cycle, again, of underwriting, claims, billing, loss control. Digital engagement is coming more and more everywhere we turn. We're doing it. I will say in workers' comp, we have lagged behind. We've lagged behind personal lines like auto and homeowners for sure. They're very far ahead of us. I can speak to that as a consumer of auto policy. So it's here. It's time to respond. 76% of the workforce is 54 years or younger. Speaking from experience, I'm 54, and I'm holding on to it for another month, by the way. But I will try to do anything digitally. If I can do it on an app, if I can do it with a chatbot, I will do anything that I can to figure out and conclude what I'm doing without having to talk to somebody or send in a manual form. So in workers' comp, the possibilities are endless. Who's your customer? How can you engage? Digital portals, claim reporting, payroll submission, loss control questionnaires, the upload and download of all types of forms, medical reports, and documents. And my favorite, chatbots to respond to straightforward inquiries like, has my benefit check been issued? Has my premium audit processed? When am I going to get the premium refund? Have you scheduled my loss control inspection? All those are data elements that are in the systems and can be communicated pretty easily. So there's a whole host of people, stakeholders, and if we can figure out who they are and what they need to accomplish, a lot of it can be done digitally, I believe. Lawrence.
Thanks, Chris. So, this is great stuff. Thank you very much. As a reminder to those of you that are listening in, please enter any questions that you may have into the chat, and we'll do our best to address those along the way or at the end of today's presentation. So we talked a little bit about customer experience. One of the key areas identified, both Chris, by both you and by Layla. So shifting focus a little bit, can you talk a little bit? You talked earlier about operational efficiencies and ensuring that you've got tight processes. Can you talk a little bit about the ways technology and innovation can enhance those processes for insurance carriers?
Yes, I think that's to me. I would say first, the core operating system, legacy or not, you take full advantage of it. It really needs to support the work comp basics. It supports the adherence to regulatory requirements, which we know are rampant in work comp. Use the out-of-box configuration that's available, that's designed specifically for work comp. An example of that would be, use the benefit calculator across multiple jurisdictions. Claims folks are now handling 5 or more jurisdictions in many cases. And take the upgrades that you're getting, that your provider is putting out there. Take it at least one annually. Stay on top of the functionality that you have. And then as you look internally and how systems can leverage it, you have to look at all the manual decision making that's happening by all the different roles. And a lot of manual thought goes into straightforward, non-complex, repeated tasks. Give your teams relief of these things. Let them focus more on the meaningful work, more on the impactful work. It not only enables the policy and claims process, but it also provides a more, I believe, a more satisfying and engaging experience for the teams. A couple of other things, rules-based automation, decision-making, things like claim assignment, reserve setting, straight-through processing and underwriting on for low risk, no exception quotes, or for even back into claims fast tracking lower complex claims like medical only. And then outside of the core and systems, if you have a system that is modern, with open architecture, it's less cumbersome, but more importantly, it's easier to connect with the partners. The core system can't do everything. We can't be all things, right? But if the system is designed and can connect easily with all of the partners that are in this ecosystem, innovation abounds. There really are no limits to the innovation that can be achieved. Best of breed partners, specifically selected, for a range of different business capabilities in the work comp space. The Sapiens GhostDraft partnership is just one that's around document composition and rendering. There are many, many more. Payment issuance, invoicing, text communications, predictive analytics, e-signature documents. So, I could just go on for hours, but I think those are two things: the core and then the partners. Layla.
Fit for purpose, right? And I see that across many of the different organizations that we work with here at GhostDraft. Is let's focus on what we do, and let's bring partners in to focus on what they do so that we can provide best of breed. Layla, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important that insurance really keep up with the technology and the innovation that's out there in the space, especially in workers' comp, right? We have to provide that opportunity to sort of drive efficiency, get that compliance, of course, and also customer engagement. So you want to leverage technology that allows carriers to automate and streamline their processes. You want to make sure that you're adopting modern systems. You want to make sure that you're automating those manual tasks, right? The document management, the claims processing, whatever else we can think of. You want to reduce that administrative burden and then accelerate those turnaround times so that you can improve overall operational efficiency. And then that also then improves the customer satisfaction, right? We have a bunch of advanced technology platforms that also boost customer engagement. So you can provide intuitive interfaces, you can provide different tools, and then carriers will then empower those business users to effortlessly create, manage, and deliver customized communications, because that's what we're talking about. We're a CCM vendor, right? So we want to make sure that we have the ability to enhance that communication effectiveness, and then make sure that policyholders receive those timely and relevant information details tailored to their specific needs and preferences. Another thing is that technology will enable carriers to ensure that compliance and consistency across their operations. So things like automated workflows, compliance checks, they will help minimize those errors, ensure that adherence to regulatory requirements, and then stakeholders can review quickly, approve documents, and then have those detailed audit trails to provide transparency and accountability. Again, furthering that regulatory compliance. And then, probably finally, one of the things that I mention is that centralizing communications management through that unified platform streamlines the entire forms and communications process, so that you have that initial creation all the way through to final delivery. Carriers are then managing that end-to-end communications from a single interface. And then centralizing that approach improves coordination between the teams, so there's less siloing. You have reduction of duplication of efforts, and then you enhance that overall efficiency of the communications that you're delivering.
So all good stuff so far. I'm hearing that we've got a lot of technology available across the ecosystem here through partners. Bringing in technology, however, for an insurance company can be somewhat challenging. So, Chris, I wonder, can you spend a moment or so talking about how an insurer can, strike the balance, right, between bringing in this new technology, streamlining all of these processes, but ensuring that there's no disruption and continuing to deliver the great customer experience that we've talked so much about today?
Sure. So first and foremost, I think we have to remember and consider the human component in workers' comp. And this might be a soft answer, but it's true. Behind every policy and claim, there's an injured worker. there's an employer, and there's agents and service providers and so on. So when you talk about streamlining the processes, we should look to make things easier for the customers to get what they want done. I mentioned self-service portals and digital earlier, and they do serve a significant purpose, and they will continue to expand. You know, I told you I love using those to get things done, but there will always be a need for human interaction. So I don't think we can lose sight of that. And when you talk about the human interaction, humans are interacting, be it digitally. What you want to do is you want to optimize the customer's ability or the customer's level of engagement. That's certainly the goal. And as I think about it, all these different things that we can do, one of the ways to optimize it is to look for solutions that put the customer in control. People like to have power to get things done. You give them 24 access to information, give them access to self-service options, and give them choices, right, on how they want to do things, how they want to communicate. You know, simple example, you know, give them a choice of opting in or opting out of text messaging updates, give them an option to receive, you know, emailed or digital forms, you know, versus the old snail mail. So I think looking for the opportunities to identify who the customers are, consider the human component, and give them the power to engage in different ways to do that, I think is important to streamlining. Layla, I'll turn it to you.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And so, you know, I'm coming at this from what I've seen other insurers do. And a lot of times it's that balance that we're talking about between the efficiency and the customer experience is that leveraging of technology partners, right? You want to seek vendors who are continuously innovating, right? You want to have that future-proofed organization. So we want to be able to support ecosystems that sort of facilitate that seamless integration with your existing infrastructure. So it should be user-friendly, of course, and it should empower the business users to sort of be able to navigate through and utilize tools effectively without that extensive technical expertise, right? You want to partner with vendors who implement solutions that are streamlining the internal processes so that you are enhancing the capabilities to deliver personalized and efficient customer service. So a little example, so 45 insurers use the GhostDraft and Sapiens joint solution. So we provide that comprehensive suite of solutions that complement that advanced communication platform that we have. And we empower carriers to achieve operational efficiency and then also create those customer experiences that are top notch. So we integrate seamlessly, of course, and we streamline the data management, we automate those key processes, and then we empower users with the easy to use tools. And we optimize workflows. We enable you to provide personalized and omni-channel communications to policyholders. You know, it's, again, right, we talked about this, when you center the customer, that is a really good way to prioritize their needs by processing the streamlining efforts. So, you know, for example, when you focus on speed to market, you're streamlining the effort to create policies, do claims, any customer service interactions, and then that automation and digital transformation initiative significantly reduces the processing times, it improves your responsiveness, and it enhances that overall customer experience. So, you know, you just, the better and more effective your communication is, the better balance you're able to strike. So you can communicate changes pretty transparently with your customers. You can highlight new benefits, quicker claims, maybe easier policy management, stuff like that. And then, you know, you can also leverage that data analytics component so that you can help carriers make the informed decisions about the process improvements, analyze your customer feedback, maybe behavior patterns, and you know, find those pain points and then figure out a way to take those pain points away. All right. I think I did a lot of talking about that.
No, it's highly appreciated. Thank you both. A final reminder, if any of you have any questions for our panelists today, please enter them into the chat. We will be distributing a recording of this webinar if you'd like to share it internally or externally. As we near the end of our time today, given that the series of webinars that we've been running together is called Insurtech Evolution, Layla, I was wondering if you can talk a little bit about how that evolution is impacting specifically the workers' comp industry.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think that Insurtech advancements are really going to be revolutionizing efficiency and effectiveness within insurers in general, but workers' comp specifically, right? So we've got emerging technologies around machine learning, and of course, today's buzzword, AI, right? We want to be able to ensure that people are able to automate those previously manual tasks and then save time and get that in accuracy and consistency, right? They're help, they're not replacement. We're also, I think Insurtech is reshaping the customer experience landscape in workers' comp. So some insurers are already implementing sort of highly personalized communication strategies and ensuring basically that when policyholders receive that information, they're getting it through their preferred channels, right? Like I said. And so it enhances engagement when it's more personalized because you're delivering those relevant updates and recommendations so that are tailored to the specific needs of the customer that you're speaking with. And they're much more happy when they're done speaking with you. I think there's also additional evolution around fostering the collaborative ecosystems within the industry. You know, insurers are increasingly partnering with startups, right? Innovators, creating integrated solutions, streamlining those operations and improving that service delivery. And I think that is facilitating the adoption of new technologies and then expanding insurers' capabilities to meet those expectations that customers have. You know, Insurtech evolution is going to continue to drive innovation across the industry, and it's going to enable insurers to operate more efficiently. You're going to provide that more enhanced customer experience through personalized interactions and then those robust ecosystems. I think, you know, I can say, for example, we have a joint customer that replaced their legacy system with Sapiens and GhostDraft, and they boosted their operational efficiency by over 50% because they were able to get that over 50% straight through processing. So they were reducing their manual tasks. They were allowing their underwriters to focus on those more complex risks. And then when they did that transformation, they were able to deliver those faster, more accurate services that they wanted to deliver to policyholders. And then their expectations were met, and there was that immediacy and convenience. And you know, when you drive improvements like that, it also drives higher premium volumes and enhances your customer experience.
All right, thanks, Layla. Chris, we're bumping up against the bottom of the hour, but it wouldn't be 2024 without a conversation about AI in insurance. So to round us out, I was wondering if you could just give us a brief opinion of how AI is impacting workers' comp insurance.
Sure, that's great. I'll give you the 60-second Chris version of that. You know, when I think about Insurtech evolution, big data, analytics, AI, all those things. When you think about AI, we've moved beyond underwriting risk selection, claim severity scoring, using analytics to identify fraud. We've come a long way. In fact, I was reading about a loss prevention service provider that uses AI to analyze video, hundreds of hours of video from a policyholder's existing surveillance cameras. And they use that without a person, and they find risky behavior. They identify actionable prevention measures. And we've come a long way from a walkthrough of the facility. The consensus of what I'm hearing about AI in underwriting and claims, we've moved beyond where we were at the start. It's almost as if we're at a tipping point. The industry, they're noticing it. They're now starting to embed the output of AI into policy, into claims, so that calls attention to the underwriter, to the claims adjuster of red flags, not only the attention to it, but also with some prescriptive types of actions. And I think WorkComp was slow as an industry to adopt this, but it seems that carriers are finally accepting the idea, taking the time, making the investment to actually use, big data to influence decisions. And I will close with this. If you heard me say, we're using data to emphasize or to influence AI to make decisions. It's not about giving up control. It's not about removing people out of the equation. I managed claims operations and adjusters for a long time, and we thought that we could control everything by seeing everything. As an industry, we've come a long way. It's not possible to see everything. AI will help us identify, highlight, automate, influence, and enhance our processes for an all-around improvement to outcomes, I think, and again, to employee satisfaction, as I said earlier.
Chris, thank you very much. Layla, Chris, thank you so much for your time today, for sharing your invaluable insights. We sincerely appreciate it. We hope that the people listening in found this discussion enlightening, and that you're inspired to modernize your approach to Insurtech based on some of the information that you found today. Remember, staying ahead of the curve is vital in today's dynamic marketplace. If you have questions or want to learn more, please visit GhostDraft.com or Sapiens.com. Thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to continuing the conversation.
Bye-bye.